we are going to be talking about the fourth characteristic of how you know the truth, how you recognize the truth. For truth to be truth, it has to have some certain characteristics. It has to have some certain characteristics. And one of those characteristics is what we are going to talk about today. But before then, let's recollect what are the other characteristics of truth that we have spoken about before. Number one, for truth to be recognized and identified as the truth, it must possess what characteristic? Number one? It is universality. It must be universal. All right? It must be true. That statement or that belief system or that practice must be true for all peoples, in all places, and in all times, at all times. Okay. Number two, for any truth to be recognized as the truth, it has to possess what other characteristics, what components? It has to be absolute. Truth has to be absolute before it is true. So if I come to you and I affirm anything and I say, yeah, because I'm a pastor, it's not enough for you to believe me because I'm a pastor. It's not enough to even believe me because I read from the Bible. So if I read from the Old Testament, for example, I was talking about, I released a video recently about first fruit. And people heard this video, they were convinced, but some people were writing and saying, well, okay, because I said, show me one passage in the New Testament that says you should pay first fruit. I said, don't even show me two. Even though Jesus said, from the mouth of two or three, every truth shall be confirmed. So even I said, I'm even giving you grace, giving you bonus. You don't need to even show me two. Let me relieve you of the trouble. Just one. One. Not be two. One. Just show me one passage. You don't even need to look for second one. One is enough. If you can find one that says you should pay first fruit in the New Testament, even tithe, if in the New Testament, if you can find one, not be two, that's what we say yes. But the guy that wrote, one of the guys who was, I'm sure who is a beneficiary of first fruit offering, wrote back and said, well, okay, it's not in the New Testament. But even the Old Testament, but it's there in the Old Testament. Since it's there in the Old Testament, are we now throwing out the Old Testament? No, we are not throwing out the Old Testament, but anything in the Old Testament that we are admitting and we are going to be practicing in the New Testament must not just be present in the Old. We are Christians today. It has to be universal enough to at least get to this. Not just universal enough for that time. It must be universal enough, even not to even get to our time now. At least to get to the Bible times. At least to get to the New Testament. If it's not universal enough to get to the New Testament, it means it's not there. It's not worth it. It's not worthwhile. Yeah. Can you imagine? It doesn't, we can even say, okay, it's not universal enough. We have lived long time ago. It cannot get to our place. We can, but if it was not universal enough to get to the New Testament, forget. So it's not enough that people say they found it in the Bible. They could find it in the Bible, but if it cannot be supported, if it cannot be found in the New Testament, it's not truth anymore. It's no more truth for us. It's not truth because all the truth that are supported, that are still valid in the Old Testament, somehow, one way or the other, they are repeated in the New Testament. And you can see the sequence of it, that they are supportive of each other. So, truth must be universal. Truth must be absolute. It must not just be absolute for that time. It must be absolute for all times. That is what makes it the truth. So, since you cannot find it in the New Testament, it's not absolute even enough for Bible. Talk less for now. So, a lot of things that people do in churches, they just come and say some things and talk. Okay, for example, people will go to church and tell you that the service has to start with praise and worship. In fact, some people will come to the church and say, if there is no praise and worship church, this church is not anointed. or God is not there. In fact, some pastors will tell you that because I don't have money for instruments, I can't start church. What is the truth in that? Oh, enter into the house of the Lord with thanksgiving or with praises. So enter into the, okay, when did Jesus enter with praises? You want to tell me he didn't? You want to tell me he didn't read it? Can you show me one? One, no, not be two. Not two, one. Where Jesus entered with praises. And you want to tell me he didn't have ministry? He didn't have church? Okay, let's leave Jesus alone. Peter. Peter, with praises. You show me. Am I destroying your religiosity? Am I messing it up? One, no, not be two. One. So a lot of things that we have come to exalt, a lot of practices, they don't stand the test of time. They don't stand the test of truth. So there is nothing anywhere that affirms that if you don't have praise and worship, you cannot have church. Show me, okay, if you cannot even find Peter, at least Paul. Where Paul didn't start the church because he wanted praise and worship him. Huh? What is the absolutism of that truth that, you must have praise and worship or instruments before you could have church? It doesn't stand. So a lot of things people will tell you, oh, you must start with praise and worship. Who said? Then they will bring some Old Testament something. Okay, show me at least one in New Testament. One. Not be two. One. It doesn't hold water. It's good, it's good practice, good tradition. But I'm not even sure the apostles did it. So we have come to assume some of our own practices as truth. Just because they have always been there. Or because that's what we inherited. You can do praise and worship anytime. Most of the praise and worship in the New Testament, you know where it was done? In people's homes. In their own private lives. It doesn't have to be part of service. They are talking about David. You think the dance of David happened in the church? You think it was in the church? Okay, go and read that passage again. You will discover that even that truth, they are saying he danced in the church and I will dance like David. It was not in the church, it was in the street. They were carrying the ark. So all those things we are all believing and stuff. They are good, but okay. But to now pitch a tent and say this is the rule and this is how things are supposed to be, I'm sorry. So we've discussed the first characteristic of truth, which was universalism. Then second one, absolutism, and the third one was what? Objectivity. Objectivity. That is, the truth must be objective, not what? Not subjective. Now, the truth, today, the fourth characteristic of the truth that we are going to look at today, the fourth thing that makes the truth that you need to look out for is the fact that for anything to be regarded as truth, it must correspond with reality. It must correspond with reality. It must correspond with reality. For example, when people come to church, those are our pastors. God have mercy upon them. God have mercy upon them. When pastors come to church and tell you, if you want to be rich, bring offering. You must sow prophet offering or which other offering? Faith offering and all faith seed. Protection seed. 24 hours. So how did you survive up to now? If they are saying protection seed, so what happened? Who protected you before you bring that? Before they announced that seed to you. So how did you survive up to now? Who was paying the protection seed for you? But you lived somehow up to now without paying the protection seed, it doesn't rhyme with reality. It doesn't fall in place with reality. Protection seed. So, but I didn't pay any seed and I'm still alive. So which protection? What happened? It doesn't, any truth, any statement, any belief system, any word that people say that does not, you just think with your head, little, shoot. No, that's what we say in Russian. Just a little bit, small, troshki, shoot. Just a little bit, just a little thinking, just tiny thinking, just, teeny weeny. Just a little bit of thinking. If you're asking me now to pay protection fee, not fee, seed, but I somehow managed to be here up to now. That's number one. What is it again?
Completion.
Millionaire status. Let me become first now, and then you make me first. Then from what you have given me, then I will pay you per percentage on top. But what is the guarantee that I will pay the millionaire status and I will not become? Even the seed concept, when they tell you have to pay seed, I've already done a video about that. It doesn't have anything to do with money. Anytime he's talking about seed, he's talking about seed, real seed. When he says the harvest time, the sowing and the winter, what they call it, winter and summer, sowing and reaping time cannot come to an end. He's talking about real physical sowing. He's not talking about, he's talking about seed, real one. He's not talking about, he didn't mention money there at all. Harvest time and, sowing time will not come as a winter and so it doesn't talk about money. It didn't mention money. So it's not real. So for somebody to now be using that as a reason for you to bring money is not corresponding with reality. So any statement, anything people do that is not corresponding with reality, it could be a good idea for somebody to make money, but it's not the truth. When they talk about Isaac, that is sold in the land in time of famine, was it money what he sold? But today they are telling you about Isaac and they are talking about money. How come money even? Is it money? Isaac and money? How? He sold. It's not money he sold now. Okay, if you want me to go and sow like Isaac, give me a land and give me the seed. Me, I go sow am. Go give me a piece of land and some good seed. I'll go and seed. Even in farming, I will go and sow too. But how come I bring my money to you? But even that Isaac, he sowed the money, he sowed the seed in land. In a concrete country, in a place of work. So, but why should I bring it to you? You are a land. I know you are a human being. I know you are a human being. So all these things are not corresponding with reality. So but you don't be land now. So you are a human being, you are working everywhere. But that one went to cultivate the land. Which means sowing that we are talking about is hard work. And you are telling me not to work. You are telling me not to work, I just bring it to you. So where would the miracle come from? You explain to me. Is the fruit going to be coming from where? From your house? From your car? If that's we play, I'm sowing to. Is it not where you sow to you reap from? So if I'm sowing you, okay, how much percentage will you give me back? If you are the fertile land now, are you not fertile? Okay, how many percentage will I get back? If you are a fertile ground, okay, what will you give me? Where will the return come? So things that I'm just challenging your mind for you to know truth. How to gauge the truth. How to size the truth. How to measure the truth. How to find out the truth. Anything that anybody is saying that doesn't correspond with reality. Doesn't make sense. It's not real. It's not real. It's not corresponding with reality. Challenge it. Somebody say, okay, thou shalt not. Okay, your enemy. You have to curse your enemy. You have to follow. But I used to be somebody's enemy. What about if they have said I should die? It doesn't make sense too. I'm not even somebody's enemy up to now, but people are counting me to be enemy. Even you, all of you that are here, somebody is thinking that you are offending them. that you are their enemy, even though you might not even be aware of it. Maybe you didn't greet them only, or maybe you didn't congratulate them on their something. Well, so anything could happen. They say you are an enemy. So we should now be killing each other everywhere. It doesn't make sense. Mass murder and mass murderers in church. So churches are becoming murderers sitting down in church in the pews. And they say they are going to heaven. So those things don't work. They don't correspond. They don't match. Truth is, when it's truth, it will match with reality. You can be able to trace it and say yes. It makes sense. It rhymes with reality. What are other practices that people do in church that that is not, okay? Somebody say you will be healed today. How do you know? Okay, you said I will be everybody that is sick here today. Nobody will leave here without being healed. All of you will be healed today. Then the service finish. I'm still not healed. It doesn't follow with reality. So where is the truth with what you said? You said I will be healed. Now let's go to court. You didn't. You said it. Answer for your word. Now it's recorded. If what you are saying is not corresponding, you've lied. Truth, he has to correspond with what you are saying. So if you come to a church and the pastor is telling you every Sunday, okay, all of you are going to have your breakthrough today. The service ended, you are going home, you are saying, okay, this week will not end before you get your break. You will get your breakthrough this week. Okay, you are waiting. Breakthrough is coming. Until next Sunday comes, and you are waiting for, and then it's another message again. Then at the end again, you are saying, I said, Pastor, what happened with you? What happened of yesterday? The one you promised yesterday, you said God said. What happened to it? God forgot? God went to sleep? Or you lied on God? If it is truth, it will correspond with reality. None of you shall be barren. So what happened with the barren? What about this one that is barren? So what happened with that one? Because that scripture that you are taking out of context, it doesn't guarantee. It's not saying you will never be barren, because people were barren in the Bible. It's just life. It's just like some people will give birth, some people will not give birth. She might not even be barren. Maybe it's the husband that doesn't have sperm count, and you are saying she's barren. She doesn't even want to have children, and you are saying no, she will be barren. Take scriptures out of something context, and just be using it to. It's not corresponding with reality. Oh, nobody will be sick in this church. It's not true. Because people will be sick. Either you like, you don't like, either you are anointed, you are not anointed, people will be sick. So it's not, even by you saying that you are already a fraud. You are already a fraud pastor. We shouldn't even be going to your church at all. We are leaving. We protest. We shouldn't be having members. You shouldn't be having members in that church at all. That church must be empty. It must totally be empty. Because it's not true. Okay, if you say, no, it's true, I'm anointed. Okay, let's count. And we have to monitor all the members of the church. If anyone falls sick, you are in trouble. Because you said they will not. Nobody will have accidents in this church this year. People, we have said amen. So what happened? What went wrong? If it doesn't correspond with the truth, then it is not the truth. Maybe it's your wishes, but don't put God's name there. Don't say God said. No, later on, after. Write your question down, then you ask them. So anything that doesn't correspond with truth is a lie. Anything that doesn't correspond with truth is not truth. So for you to, how do you know the truth? The truth will always correspond with reality. The truth is not, if it is truth, it's absolute. So it will touch reality. It will touch, it will make sense. It will touch reality. If somebody came to Jesus and said, I came to you, they said, what do you want? That I will be made whole. He said, be made whole. What is said became reality. And the woman was dancing, became whole. They say, oh, son of David, have mercy on me that I may see. Okay, you touch him. Okay, go and see. It became reality. He saw. The woman with the something touched the hem of the garment. The tissue, you just said, okay, virtue went out of it. It went. What is the proof? There's no more tissue of blood. Issue of blood. Everything corresponds with reality. And that's how we should be living our life on a daily basis. If people tell you something, look for the facts. Look for the accomplishments of it. If it's not going to correspond, come beforehand and say, okay, I said something, please, it's not working out, or I'm sorry. Or quickly repent. Then we know that at least you made a mistake. Or it didn't work. Or force majeure. Something happened. But especially when you are using the name of God, truth must correspond with reality. So truth is only truth when whatever people are saying or believe or they affirm or pronounce, only when those truths can be seen to correspond with the way things really are. If I say the capital of France is London, the capital of France is London, is that true? Why is it not true? Because it doesn't correspond with the way things are. If I say potatoes is harvested on the trees, you have to pluck potatoes from the tree. And I go to tree, I can't see potato. It's not true. Why is it not true? It doesn't correspond with the way things are. Because potato is not on the trees, it's under the tree. It's in the soil. It's not corresponding with the way things are. It's not truth. Truth must always correspond with the way things are. If I say I'm a woman, and you remove my trouser and there is no... It's another instrument that is there. It's not true. Why? Because truth doesn't correspond. Truth doesn't correspond with reality. You can say anything you want, but it has to correspond with reality. So when gay people come and say, this one say I'm a sissy. What? But I'm looking at you, you're having beard, you're having everything, and you are saying you are a sissy, and this is my husband. Another sissy, another man with beard also is your husband. It's not corresponding with the way things are. So it cannot be the truth. You say you are a woman and you are a man. Then you say, oh, it's because we are homosexuals. Doesn't matter what you call yourself. You are not created like that, you are not it. Truth must correspond with reality. If I say the distance between here and Kyiv is 20 kilometers, and then let's say I say no, it's 2 kilometers, but I've been traveling 10 kilometers, I've not gotten there yet. It means it's not truth. Why? Because I'm traveling, I can't get there. 10 kilometers is already behind. And you said it's 2. It doesn't correspond with reality means it's not true. Truth must correspond with reality. So truth is what corresponds with reality. Zechariah 8:16 says, these are the things you shall do. Speak each man the truth to his neighbor. Speak each man the truth to his neighbor. Give judgment in your gates for truth, justice and peace. Why should you speak each truth to your neighbor? Because you'll be judged by that truth. How is the truth judging you? If what you said, what you speak to your neighbor, does it correlate with what exists in reality or not? If it doesn't, truth will judge you. Truth judges you by the correlation. How much what you are saying or what you are doing corresponding with the truth. If it doesn't correspond, you will be judged with the truth. The truth will judge you. Psalms 146 verse 6 says, who made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, who keeps truth forever. So the sea and the heaven and the earth, they remain stable. We can rely on them because they are all based on truth. Truth keeps them forever. So they are real. They stand still because they are based on truth. They are being kept by truth. Truth makes things to correspond with the way they promise to be. If I promise you that if you go to McDonald's or whatever, any shop, and you buy something and they tell you that this is 5 kilograms or 2 kilograms, and you weigh it is half a kilogram, it's not corresponding with the truth. And you paid for 5 kilograms. That's lie. So every society must be based on these values. The value of truth. Things must correspond. That is what makes things work. The reason why planes fall from the air is because things people can say they don't correspond with the reality. And accidents happen. Economy fails because what people say don't correspond with the expectations. Political systems fail because what politicians say don't correspond with reality. It's not based on truth. And anything that is not based on truth will be condemned. The truth will come to vindicate you. The truth will come to judge you. Proverbs 20:17 says, bread gained by deceit could be sweet to a man, but afterward his mouth will be filled with gravel. Truth will catch up with you, or you will replace the sweetness with gravel. Anything that is done opposite of truth will come and shame you. So bread of deceit is not really sweet, because it is only temporarily sweet before you are caught. Once you are caught, it becomes gravel. Psalms 96 verse 13 says, for he is coming to judge the earth. So what will you use to judge the earth? He shall judge the earth, the world with righteousness, and the peoples with his truth. Truth will judge the earth. What do you mean judge the earth? It will judge the earth. Does it correspond? Does what you say, what you mean, correspond with reality or not? God is not demanding for your holiness and perfection. But whatever you are, the way you are presenting yourself, does it correspond with the way you are or not? If you are not perfect, you are a human. Tell the truth that you are human. That is truth. Truth justifies you in that sense. It's not because you are not perfect. But you tell the truth that I am human, oh. So truth defends you because you are telling the truth. But if you are perfect, then say you are perfect. If you are. Because if you are not, truth will come after you. Just be truthful. Jeremiah 5:1 says, run to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem. See now and know and seek in our open places if you can find a man. So which man is he looking for? If there is anyone who executes judgment, who seeks the truth, and I will pardon her. Can you imagine? Truth is truth brings forgiveness. Truth brings pardon. So it's not because, you are perfect or not perfect. But if you are truthful, truth brings pardon to you. God elevates truth. God uses truth to judge the earth. That's why truth is what judges the earth. I want to ask people a question. Especially people like Success, Victor, I know other people. They are the ones who are familiar with it. All of you are familiar with what people are doing in churches these days. What are the things that people say or doctrines that people preach in churches that don't hold water in front of truth? They don't correspond with life, with reality. They are not true. They preach it, people practice them, people do them, but if you are going to look into them, they are not going to, they don't hold water. Okay, for example, there is a doctrine they just started in the church now. They call it Day of Virgins, Service of Virgins, Conference of Virgins. So what they are saying is that the virgins of the Lord, that's like, what is virgins? What is it? Is there any synonym? Avenge, revenge, vengeance. The day of vengeance of the Lord that will come. So they will gather to call vengeance upon your enemies. They should die. So why is that country not reducing the population? So it doesn't correspond with truth. They have died, fall down and die. So why is it that nobody is dying? Because they don't fall down, they don't fall in line. We are saying that handkerchiefs can heal. We are bringing handkerchief everywhere. People carry handkerchief everywhere. Have you heard of that? People carrying handkerchief everywhere. If it is if those handkerchiefs are really anointed, there will be no sick person in my country. You want to tell me there is no sick person in that country? Huh? And in Europe here, where they don't carry handkerchief, people are more whole. People are more healthy than where we are carrying handkerchief. If the handkerchief is really working, what's happening? Why is sick people still being multiplied? We are carrying oil everywhere. People will not be sick. You will not have accident. No problem. Why is it that your problem is so much you are writing your relatives everywhere, all over to ask for money? You are just wasting your oil. Make you go eat. Gain some weight. All the handkerchiefs that are walking around that country. Come here, guys. Come here. Come and tell me all those things going on. If you are going to look into reality, see my way of thought. See anybody that wants to come talk. See my way of reasoning. Questioning the microphone. Questioning things and practices that where is ID Peter? Are there practices in the churches that if it's going to be gauged, if they are going to be gauged by the standard of truth, that will not hold water? Okay, for example, I saw the cars that pastors are using in my country. Rolls Royce. One has one Rolls Royce, two Rolls Royce. Another has 5 Rolls Royce. Another one has 4 Rolls Royce. Another one has 5 Jeeps, 6 Jeeps. And they say it's God that is blessing. If God is blessing you, why is the environment poor? It doesn't hold water. If the gospel is the gospel we are preaching, it's because we are children of God. The ones who are sitting in your church that are poor, are they not children of God? Just children of who? Satan? It doesn't hold water. If anything you are saying that it is because it is a sign of blessing, is God not fair? If it's a sign of blessing, it has to be a sign of blessing to everybody. Are you getting my line of thought? The gospel we preach must hold water. It must correspond with reality. If you say God blesses, where is the blessing? All those preaching about prosperity, give and it shall be given unto that brings prosperity. Our country will give more than anybody else. We are poorer than anybody else. So where is the correspondence of the truth? You say we should sow money, it's about money. And we have sold money. Why is it that only the one who is collecting the money is getting rich? And not the one who is giving it? So where is the truth? It doesn't hold water. It's up to your hands. No. Anyone can start.
Okay. So I saw a post today, and this was the post. It was, a man that cannot lead you in prayer cannot lead you in life. Are
you serious? So Steve Jobs and Bill Gates who are the leaders of even the person who is talking himself.
Yeah.
If they are prayer leaders,
Yeah.
I've not discovered though. Maybe you could refer me to the churches where they are prayer leaders. A man that cannot lead you in prayers cannot lead you in life. So all the presidents of all the countries who are leading people in life, they are prayer warriors.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg is a prayer warrior.
Well, I had a discussion with the person that actually posted
And you know the person?
And I didn't even go as far as Mark Zuckerberg. I just went as just easy. Your teacher in class is leading you in your academics. Let's not even go to Mark Zuckerberg, because apparently it's too far. Whereas your lecturers are leading you in that area of your life. Are they leading you in prayer? So many of your classmates are leading you. Okay, you go to the gym, you have a gym instructor. He's leading you, he's building up your... So the emphasis is on prayer. And what I was trying to explain to the person was that, you see, I can pinpoint 2 or 3 families I know that the man in the house is a prayer warrior. He prays very well, but the family is in a mess.
He doesn't lead anything.
Why? Because
even family cannot lead.
we can't isolate because what I understand what the person was saying, in that prayer is necessary.
Okay, or like somebody was saying the other, everybody, almost every month now, every month or every week. Today is the new month. All the things that are whatever. So this week or this month, all your problem will be resolved. And your own with yourself. You prove to me that you is writing this yourself, and your own be resolved.
I posted something. I posted something on one day, and I was like, so your intercessory department is praying against, or they are praying against every demon in your family to fall down and die. So what I said was, when they finally die, just call me, because
then I will follow you.
Then I would pray that they die. Because just thinking of because if you have a result, you understand, you can pray for all the demons to die and all those things to die. When they finally die, and then you tell me that, okay, they've died though, this is the demon that died. Then I would, because it's just, how would spirits die? Show me a place in the Bible where Jesus killed the spirits, or he killed the demon. What he does is, he sees a demon, he just says, come on, get out from this place, and you're illegal. And then people are investing they're not even investing, they are wasting. People are wasting their time attacking demons. And the attack is not even for it to be casted out, for them to fall down
and die.
Thank you.
It doesn't correspond with the truth.
There's a whole complex that I want to mention in one. It is the church they are trying their best to be separate from the world. And in doing that, they tell us that we should only take examples from the Bible. And so when you are trying to tell this person, look at Steve Jobs, you can do more. They say, don't make Steve Jobs example. Moses not there. At least Moses too created a tablet, Abby. But where it doesn't measure up is that they are still on Facebook, created by a Mark Zuckerberg, who you think does not believe in God, who is a part of the world. So you are using his product, the product of somebody who is a part of the world that you are trying to take your
things from,
your people from. So don't be a part of the world, but you are using the product of the world. I don't think that measures up. I'll gather my thoughts.
Okay, quite a lot of examples, because one of the things that religion does to people is it takes reality away from them. And Pastor says to us that truth is actually reality. Like, for example, in churches in Nigeria, you could hear things like, take soil from this church and take it to your building project, and you will get your building project completed in 1 month or in 6 months. You take some soil, some some sand.
From where?
From the church, from the premises of the church.
I never had that one.
So,
okay.
Yes, then you will take
Yeah,
that as a point of contact. So you will take it to wherever your building project is, and they will say, like, the same way building erupted in their own church, that buildings are going to start erupting.
By itself. Erupting.
That's the word they
use. They have
use.
learned to speak English.
So those kind of things, like there are some that it could be. I remember this particular event I went in those years where everybody was rushing to touch the
Man of God.
the car, just his car, because you couldn't even access. So there were a lot of protocol, a lot of security, and everybody was just trying to touch the car.
Why?
Just for healing, or for there are some they would maybe for mantle, they would just want to rub maybe some handkerchief or things like that on the car of the pastor,
No,
and
you are
then
not serious.
and then use it for whatever thing. There are some that they will say, bring the pictures of your relatives that are somewhere that are sick, or bring your certificate to church and come and anoint your certificate.
For what?
So that you can get miracle job. For miracle job. So people come to the church with their certificate and anointing oil. Hopefully the certificate is laminated, and then they anoint and then they anoint the certificate for miracle job. So they pray, the pastor or some come with the certificate or pictures of relatives that are looking for a job or that are doing one thing or the other, and they pray on those things, for miracle and all those kind of things. So people live in this religious cloud where reality has been taken away from them. And one of the things that, for me, in fact, it's one of the articles I'm going to write this week, is this same fact. Like, for example, somebody will say, like in churches, we have examples where people will come and say, praise God, the doctor said I needed surgery, but the pastor prayed for me, and God cancelled the surgery and all of those kind of things. I'm wondering that, couldn't God have used surgery as a means to heal you?
No, you have to say, if it is absolute truth, just like
Yes.
today too, I gave I gave the video about first fruit. One woman came and said, I don't care what you say. If it is biblical or it's not biblical, I don't care. I've given first fruit before, and it works for me. So if it works for you, is it absolute truth? If it is truth, it has to be absolute. If it is truth, it will work for anybody who gives first fruit.
Yes.
And if it is true, it will work not just for you or for your church members. It will work for everybody, everywhere, in any places. So if it is true that it's your anointing and the anointing of your pastor that is working, why is it that it's not everybody that he prays for that gets that thing? And if it is true that it is, that is the way your church is so anointed, then why do we need the hospital still? Because those truths don't rhyme. They don't rhyme with reality.
Yes.
Those statements.
So those that run healing ministries, we are concerned, because if it is the truth, then we shouldn't have hospitals any longer.
Yeah.
All the hospitals should be empty. Mm-hmm. And those who claim that the soil of their church is causing buildings to erupt, then we shouldn't have infrastructural decay any longer. They can also help us plant the
Everybody
soil
just go there and take
some sand and build buildings and all those kind of things. We have
without money,
all forms of deceit, and this becomes the special business. This is a place where pastors can exploit, because now they can sell shirts, sell handkerchiefs, sell oil.
Why?
For
what?
For all kinds of things, miracles that
Promises.
people want, the promises, empty promises. So a lot of people keep buying, or it's the same concept that every religious act in Nigeria is based upon. Because it's the gospel of fear and the gospel of miracles. So everybody wants to exploit each other, buy handkerchief, buy oil, buy this and buy that, buy miracle pen for exams, and all kinds of things like that. So this is a way by which religion is really exploiting people and taking us away from reality. So if it is not real, if it doesn't correspond with reality, then it's not the truth. It's not.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do this three then. Okay. So I think the substratum of everything, and now they start the manipulation, is to tell you that they tell you that sense in how can you tell me to use sense where
Perfume?
God is talking? No,
Perfume?
sense. To use your brain.
Your sense, common sense.
Yeah, to use sense when God is talking. When indeed, many times, especially in Africa.
Is it not God who created sense?
No, when it's God, the sense should not be. You should not bring sense at all. So when you are coming to church, and if it's spiritual, it's not sense.
So Jesus was not talking sense?
No, he was talking spiritual. So every word that is coming out of the pastor is spiritual. I had a discussion with one someday. I even had to go sarcastic to say that, that means all the preaching you preach in your church. I sure you preach, say yes. So that means all the preaching you do, the manuscript was sent from heaven. Say the person I'm making, I feel stupid by being sarcastic that way. How can you tell me that intellect is suspended where spirituality comes in? And even when you are preaching, there's no iota of your opinion or the intellectual interpretation of what you
No, the thing is that there is no spiritual expression without the mind. The mind, everything is done through the mind. The mind is the only instrument through which you can express everything. Spiritual experiences.
And even this one, I think Pastor Nkiru was a first and witness to that. She was invited to a program where she was talking about the use of mind, and the leader of that whole congregation in the whole of Russia was saying, how can you be talking about mental capacity when we are talking about spiritual things? That when it is spiritual, it suspends the sense.
So Jesus suspended sense?
Yes. Brain, right? Yeah. Don't use brain. Don't use brain.
Jesus was not using brain.
Yeah, he wasn't. So when they already do that one, they've already incapacitated the mind of the people. So the people already are indoctrinated to saying thinking is prohibited in this place. So that's why a lot of people go to church without thinking. Because all they believe is that the spiritual is another sphere they must go into.
So when God says, come, let us reason together.
It was God, not pastor. So, but they don't read that one. They don't read that. And so this one has now, it has built the platform where the opinion of the pastor easily passes as divine instructions. It just happens like that because now it must be God talking, even if it is the pastor's opinion. We've seen it in scenarios where someone
even if not just opinion, pastor's error.
Error, yes. Where, I was going to that, and I'm going to mention the scenario, even though I'm not going to mention the name. Where the person said the TV is devil's box.
Yeah.
Some days later, network came. Then the person joined cable network.
Came on TV.
Yeah.
Himself.
Mm-hmm. They said makeup was bad until the child had to do wedding.
And the guy made up.
The wife made up. Now, thank God, one of them, who has built something like that, said, I built these things myself. But then, before it became a structure even bigger than he himself now, they did not say, these were my opinions. They gave it as divine instructions. And people were not thinking. But like you said, and you were talking on truth, truth always catches. Yeah, they swallowed hook, line, and sinker. Even with the boat. They swallowed everything.
But
truth is catching up.
And exposing the truth.
It's exposing the truth. But the point is, for some people, it will just be too late. And that's why every one of us sitting here, we have the challenge to speak the truth. You just may be saving somebody. You just may be saving someone. Then there's another one they say that I find quite offensive, especially when I go through the metro. Every time it annoys me. When I go through this metro in Kyiv. How do you say pray until something happens? Push. They call it push. Say push. Push means pray until something happens. Then the congregation will say, preach, preacher. Then someone will say, preachest. How can you pray until something happens? They never talk about work. So they make you suspend your work. No. They don't say persevere, in fact. They don't say push. They don't say stay in the lane. They don't say what they tell you is
consistent.
Yeah, they don't. What they tell you, suspend everything called human, make it divine. And indeed, miracles, as I have learned, and I don't know if people, it's just because they are not thinking again, miracle means rare occurrence. If it were not rare, it would not be called miracles. It will just be an everyday event. So how then can we continue to live our lives on the basis of a promise that is not promised?
And it's not guaranteed.
It's a promise, but it's not. You are not even the one who will determine when it will come. It's so rare that, as a matter of fact, when we say miracles happen in events, let us do statistics again. We'll see that it doesn't correspond to reality. Yeah, let's do statistics.
100,000.
Yes, 100,000 people.
Truth. Let's find out the truth.
Yes, 100,000 people attended an event. 10 people came to give testimony. What happened to the rest?
Reality, truth.
It doesn't correspond. So when they say again, pray until something happens, somebody somewhere is walking and persevering. I wish this man was praying. The man who did for light bulb.
Thomas said it.
I wish he was praying until something happened.
We wouldn't have had it now.
I just wish.
He was experimenting.
For the 1,000.
He was in the laboratory.
And so this thing is why 99% of every research going on in the world is, 1%, only about 1% is going on in Africa. Out of that 1%, 90% of that 1% is a research that has been made, studied research. So, like, if what you've done, I now take your book, and now start reading your book to find out truth. That's 90% of what we do in Africa. Because research was not encouraged, we have been told to pray. Where indeed God, the Bible says God hides things, some things, but it is the glory of God to conceal things. On us, king, to search them out.
Research.
We are indeed not searching.
But this truth we are talking about today, that it must correspond with reality. And how do you know if things correspond with reality? Through research, through laboratory, through experiment, through statistics, through investigation, through history, through research. So that is on the basis of what research is coming from and what laboratories are coming from. Everything must be searched and, investigated and thoroughly, compared with reality.
So, for example, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. He was praying for 3 months maybe it was even 6 months. He needed finance and he was trusting God, praying for 6 months. But 1 month, he got work. And what work provided for him in 1 month?
His prayers didn't do it in 6 months.
6 months. And even if in fact, someone had been the one to give him what he gave him, the person would be walking like this. If I was me, I would be walking like this. Because now I will become like
I'm your Lord.
Yeah. What work? Because work is truth. What work? Work guarantees that when you work, there will be results.
That's truth.
Prayers.
It's not guaranteed because it's not truth.
So when they are saying pray until something happens, they are not even telling you. They are making this prayer an event. So you live your life in the expectation of that event. Yeah. So you keep praying and praying. So oh God, people just don't think. So, because prayer in itself, like Pastor has said in the afternoon, for those who listen, it's not an event. It's a life process. Yeah.
Okay, they will change the battery because they didn't hear.
Okay, so I think I started with the example of Anoye.
Yes.
He was trusting God for finance, the way he knew how to, even better than so many people. Mm-hmm. But in 6 months, there was no result for that trusting. But 1 month, he discovered work. And was able to work and got in 1 month what he did not get for 6 months. Now, his praying until something happened did not work there. But work worked for him.
Because work is truth.
Because work is truth.
It can be tested with reality.
Yes.
And it produces the result.
Yes.
It corresponds with reality.
Yes.
And it promises. It carries out its promises. Yes. But miracles doesn't promise anything. It's not depend on man. It doesn't depend on you. And it's not promised. It's not guaranteed. But work is guaranteed.
Yes. So that mindset of praying until something happens comes again from our error of the conception of prayer. Our erroneous conception of prayer, conceptualization of prayer. Because prayer is not an event. Prayer is not what you do. Prayer is meant to be who you are.
Yeah, lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, something you do, just like the air you breathe. That's why the Bible says, pray without ceasing. For if prayer were to be what we do, then we have ceased so many times. Because I know the times I'm sleeping, I'm not consciously praying. The times I'm eating, I'm not consciously praying. In my exam hall, I'm thinking of how to solve that next question. So I'm not praying. That means I have ceased. But prayer in itself is a dialogue. When you are not sending, you should be in a state to receive. And that's why revelation can drop in your soul, even in the hardest moment. Because that is who we are. That's the being we are in connection with God. So that we don't know that is why we are trying to pray until something happens. For if we knew this, then we'll be working more, persevering more, researching more, to finding out why is this not working. For if indeed we found out why this is not working, we will not have solved problem just for ourselves, but for the generations to come. Because they would have known one way it doesn't work. What to do when it doesn't work this way. For example, I was opportune to be the pioneer president of Nigerian Student Association, and when I wanted to register the association, I did everything. It was left with one thing. Now, it will be failure on the part of my successor to go back and start making the same mistakes. Because I've gone through the procedure, I've known how this thing does not work or how this thing works. Now, indeed and in fact, and I'm saying this here now, if they like, they should change. If they like, they don't change. Those who deviated from what has been said, their failure is so glaring because they've not been able to achieve just one project. Because persistence, work, they are the truth. Then the last one I want to talk about before I give the phone to him is there's something we call fruit of the Spirit. And we are told to pray for it. God, give me the spirit of patience. Give me the spirit of goodness. We are praying for all of these fruits. We are praying for them. But the Japanese does not pray and is yet patient.
The atheists even.
The Japanese, no, let's not even go into it, sir. Let's go to a nation that we can talk about. They are so respectful and
well-behaved.
And I doubt they've ever opened this scripture in all their life. So where did they get it from?
Some of them have never even heard the name of Jesus.
So where did they get that meekness from? I've been opportunity to relate with a lot of them. You talk to them like this. How were they able to get to, for free, what we are praying for? And we call ourselves sons. So that means something is not aligning with reality there. When I was talking about prayer and something happens, how come our prayer has not built us a metro? But we want development. We pray for our nation and pray for development. I'm praying since 1960. And the only national export we have is religion. Because I was going through the metro, I went downstairs and I went upstairs and I'm like, oh, this must be 50 years of fasting and prayer. And probably religion came here centuries before it came to, and probably are still trying to catch up. I don't
And the communists are the ones who built it.
Yeah. So when we look at nations of the world that are producing, and we look at how we are praying, and how we are constantly in the house of religion that is inhibiting our self-expression and our
success, progress, civilization,
yes.
It's inhibiting everything.
And since those ones are inhibited, the productivity of the nation is. For example, look at in Nigeria, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, church program. 9 to 12. The nation's most productive hours. And then we are praying for what? Productivity. For economy to change. We will die in recession now. If we don't change. Because productivity is what gives the nation progress.
Prosperity.
Nations get to work. We imbibe virtues that makes things work. If you come late, you don't expect to produce as much as those who don't come late. I mean, these are just natural principles that we don't follow. And someone is praying for miracle, it does not align with reality.